Accounting is a career that many young people look at and identify with. It provides a variety of career options that have proven to be really lucrative. Today we will be looking at accounting as a career and what should a young person bear in mind while choosing accounting as a career path and all other nitty-gritties involving accounting. And maybe later we'll also be looking at financial wellness and stability. Good afternoon and Happy New Year. Welcome to yet another beautiful episode of Words of Wisdom on Guide the Youth Initiative. My name is Lawrence. Today I have a well-distinguished guest whom I will give an opportunity to identify and introduce himself. But as ours as Guide the Youth Initiative is to create a positive mindset change. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Please, for clarity to our viewer, give a brief introduction of yourself.
Greetings to our viewers. My name is Ssozi, Michael Steven, a professional accountant.
A professional accountant?
Yes, there's a difference.
Yes.
We have the normal accountants, but also have the professional ones.
Now, who are the normal accountants?
The normal accountants go through the traditional academic systems. Someone may go and do a diploma. The professional accountants are those ones who have done a course examined by a professional body of accountants.
Professional body of accountants.
Yes, the certified institutes of accountants. Be it Uganda, it may be certified institute of Kenya, whichever country you may opt for. There are those who go for SCCA, but they still remain professional accountants, and we all subscribe to the same.
Forgive me for being dull about the topic, but then do these ordinary accountants also work as in perform in the field?
Yes, they perform, but to a certain extent.
So there are some things that they don't do.
There are certain things that they may not do.
Oh, therefore
they are not allowed to do.
Okay, Mr. Ssozi, as a young person growing up, did you always envision yourself being an accountant, or you just found it in the future here unprecedented?
Actually, it was unprecedented. As a young person, I thought I was going to be a teacher.
So you had the passion of teaching?
I had a passion in teaching, but unfortunately, as we were filling our job forms, we had the forms. There are forms for degree and forms for diploma courses. I ended up we filled the ones of degree, then the ones of diploma. Our teachers told us that they would fill them for us. And when the results came back, I had performed, but narrowly missed out on the degree. That is government sponsorship. So I opted for the diploma. So I remember my parents gave me transport to go to Nkozi NTC. Then my dad had to go to Kaliro NTC to find out whether I'd been admitted there. But unfortunately, I had not been admitted. So he was advised to go to the job offices.
First rate, by that time you were what were you waiting for? For the offer of a degree in education?
Degree, no.
In accounting?
Degree had failed because I failed my career. So I narrowly missed out on degree.
Of education?
Education still.
At that time, education. You had accounting had not yet come in play.
Accounting had not yet come in play. So I opted for the degree courses had failed.
Okay.
So I went for diploma. Diploma still had failed what? Education as my first choice.
Okay.
And it was a sure deal, like people say nowadays. There's no way I would fail at degree level and also fail at what?
At diploma level.
So unfortunately, all the NTCs that were available at that time.
What are NTCs?
National Teachers College.
A National Teachers College.
Those are the ones that train diploma holders.
Diploma holders.
In education.
Yes.
So I'd failed. Even NTCs had failed. They are not admitted me. So my parent, that is my dad, he went to the job offices at Ministry of Education, only to be told that I had been admitted at UCC Tororo, that is Uganda College of Commerce Tororo.
Okay.
He had an option of changing, but then the person there, the Commission of Education, told him, no, that one's a better course, and had been admitted for Uganda Diploma in Business Studies.
Business studies. Okay, that's when accounting comes into play.
That's when accounting comes into play. And
About
I was
how long
completely
ago?
disappointed.
About how long ago?
That was around 2002, 3.
So far, how has the field of accounting been?
Now, doing let me take you to UDBS, Uganda Diploma in Business Studies.
Yes.
It had options.
Okay.
You'd either become a marketer, or a stores manager, or an accountant.
An accountant.
So it was during that diploma level, that's when I decided to become an accountant. I opted for the accounting option.
Okay. So there are so many young people. See, when we go through school, you listen to people's dreams, young people's dreams. They always want to be accountants. And from an informative perspective, what should the young people put in mind before choosing the career path of accounting?
What the young people should learn is, from me especially, is once you want to be an accountant, be an accountant. Accountants don't have, there's no option. Because once you're an accountant, just like from the word accounting, you have to be accountable. Okay. Most people think that in accounting, that's where there's money. The African mindset.
But at least we know there is money. The reason as why so many
money comes through a process. It's a process. You've got to build yourself first. Like I've told you, I did a diploma. But from a diploma, my first job was a disaster. It was very stressful. I was working for an India at a petrol station in Katavi and Tevi. But I didn't even complete my first week as an accountant there.
It must be quite a story.
But that one, it was a long story, but I did not complete. And not that I was sacked, but I sacked myself. It was a stressful job, and I even didn't know what to do, by the way, because in accounting you must also know what to do. So the next destination was an accounting firm. That is the best training and the best mentorship any aspiring accountant can go for. That one you can even go to an audit firm as early as O level, as long as you have the basic accounting concepts.
Okay.
For you to get those basics, you need to offer accounting at your O level. Because the very accounting that you offer at O level is the very accounting that the first years are taught at university. So in other words, at your O level, once you finish your O level, you can join any accounting firm.
So a person who does accounting from senior 1 to senior 4 in the vacation can go to an accounting firm.
Can go to an accounting firm for orientation.
Orientation.
Yes.
Okay. That helps in nurturing them.
That one helps in nurturing them. In fact, if I had not gone to an audit firm, maybe I wouldn't be a professional accountant. I would be an ordinary accountant.
Ordinary accountant. So it is.
But from the audit firm, that's where I was given advice by my boss to go for CPA, to enroll for CPA.
CPA, to be specific, what is CPA?
That is Certified Public Accountant.
Is Certified Public Accountant. Yes. So those are the professional accountants.
The professional accountants.
Okay. So Mr. Ssozi, I'm intrigued by the fact that you started from a diploma. You see, in most courses, when people start from diplomas, it is hard for them to hit it up to almost the brink of the course. See, for example, those in medicine, once they do their diploma in medicine, they start practicing medicine all through, they be nurses all through to the end of their careers. So, as a person who went through a diploma, how did you manage to stay focused to the point of being a professional accountant?
Staying focused, I think since childhood it is more of inborn, but also requires people to mentor you. There are people you have to look on to. Me, I used to look at my boss and I would admire him. then something started telling you that one day you also have to be like that.
You have to be like that.
So I started. For him, he had done SCCA, me, I was CPA. Because people would tell me, no, nobody should sign. Like,
you're using a lot of terminologies. I want to know what SCCA is.
SCCA is Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. That is, it is UK.
SCCA, yes. Association of Chartered Certified Accountants.
It was chartered by the Queen. So the qualifications are from that side, but it's same accounting.
So PCA,
the only
PCA
difference
is not from
CPA is Ugandan.
Yeah, so it's CPA. Sorry.
It was done by an act of parliament.
An act of parliament.
That's when Uganda's Accountant Act came into play around 1992. But the course did not take off. It only took off in 1997. So the very people who started doing CPA started in 1997.
So Mr. Ssozi, you were still explaining on the focus bit of it.
The focus bit of it is once you're focused. This is mainly taught in high school, I think. That focus.
So I was here.
Depends on the school that you went to also. There are schools where you have to be monitored to do certain things. And there are schools that will let you do whatever you want to do. But as long as you know, at the end of the day, the results have to be okay. I went to St. Peter's College, Tororo. That school, I think it was one of the best at the time. That was one of the best at that time. At that time. The teachers will not monitor you like this other strict monitoring.
So they would literally let you know.
You're taught, but at the end of the year, once you fail to perform, we used to call them winds. So the monsoon winds would blow you away. In other words, they will discontinue from school.
When I was in USS, we used to call it the axe. Once you fail to concentrate and achieve what is required, you are chopped.
For us, we used to call them winds.
The monsoon winds.
Monsoon winds would blow you away from the school, and at the end of that year, you're in a different. You go to a different school, either the school that is. We used to call them third world schools.
Third world schools. Another option.
Another option. So we would remain. Students from that school would remain focused. We would even wake up in the night just to read, unsupervised. First, we only had evening preps. We wouldn't have these other morning preps, the early morning preps. But you would enter class and you would think there was a teacher in class. In other words, students would wake up and read by themselves.
Okay, Mr. Ssozi, different courses have shortcuts. Say a medic will tell you, I would rather branch from senior 4 and I do a start of my career of medicine, studying it from after senior 4 than going straight through A level. Does it apply also to accounting? Does accounting have shortcuts?
For professional accountants, yes.
Okay.
At O level, those who are O level graduates, you could enroll for what we call CAT. CAT is CAT.
CAT.
Yes.
What is that?
It is Certified Accounting Technician.
Certified Accounting Technician.
In the Ugandan version it used to be ATC, Accounting Technician Certificate, or nowadays it is called ATD. In other words, after your O level, you can even go for a diploma direct.
Okay.
Because they weighed it. It used to be a certificate, but they weighed it and it's an equivalent of what? Of a diploma. So the Ugandan version, they call it ATD now. It is Accounting Technician Diploma. So from your O level, just enroll.
So it's from an informative position, it's the best option to always to.
If you're going to be an accountant,
it's the best option.
It is the best option.
See, we have
usually people who have gone through ATD or ATC or CAT form the best accountant, because most of the accounting concepts are taught to you at an early age when your brain is still sharp.
Okay. Where does this leave people who ordinarily want to pass through A-level, through university, and achieve a bachelor's in accounting?
Where it leaves them, because at the end of the day, there are certain things that you, an ordinary person with your diploma or your degree, won't do, which the other person has to do. For example, signing on an audit report, being an auditor, being appointed as an auditor, you've got to qualify for CPA first, or SCCA or any other course, and also enroll as a member for you to be appointed. As an auditor.
Okay.
We shall look at that, maybe we could look at the difference between the two. Depends on their roles.
Okay. At that, what are different career options in accounting?
The different career options in accounting. We look at the roles of accountant. The accountants, we can look at two different dimensions. The first dimension is the performance dimension, and also the conformance dimension. Performance dimension, you're going to be an ordinary accountant.
Okay.
Playing, let's say, playing the roles of an ordinary finance person. Then, and then for conformance, you're going to be checking what this other person, the performer, has done, whether he has conformed to the necessary regulations, the accounting, various accounting. We have what we call the international financial reporting standards. So we look at whether in the other person's performance he conformed to the IFRS's, International Financial Reporting Standards. Because the reports that you prepare as an accountant, the reports that I prepared in Uganda, someone in India has to be able to read it and understand it. So that's why you follow those standards. Someone else in UK, somebody else, even in Russia, because we are following the International Financial Reporting Standards.
Oh, so
there's no way I can write a report that somebody elsewhere is not able to read.
See,
that is where the difference comes in. The one who has gone to a bachelor's may prepare a report just for internal use.
Okay.
But yet the person who has gone for
was passed through these earlier stages.
Once you prepare a report, the person who has gone, who is a professional accountant, one who has done CPA, SCCA, or any other professional course, certified course, that person will prepare a report, follow the standards, because he has been taught to follow those standards.
Okay.
So that the report can be understood worldwide.
So when we look at the career options,
that's what I'm saying. The career options, I think I didn't complete what I was supposed to tell you. So the career option, the first, you can be an accountant. An ordinary accountant. Play the financial roles. Then the other, the conformance roles, that is in performance. Conformance, you can be an auditor, either an internal auditor or an external auditor. The other one, overall, is you can be a financial advisor.
So accountants give financial advice to clients?
Yes. Accountants give financial advice to clients.
So the field of accounting is more or less business too?
It is more or less business. Like, it can be a business if you are going to set up an accounting firm yourself. Like myself, I work for an accounting firm. So what you need is, first of all, qualify as an accountant, as a professional accountant, enroll, get a certificate, like the lawyers do, get your practicing. We have what is called practicing certificate. Once you get a practicing certificate, you open up shop and the clients will come in. You can get clients through referrals. Then you start your business.
When you talk about clients, I want to look at what are the benefits of accounting? Now this is for business people. What are the benefits of accounting to business?
Benefits of accounting to business people, like I told you, there are some benefits that come from performance, that is performance, dimension, or conformance. Yes. So, okay. But we shall look at the major the five. I think there are 5 or 4. There are about 5, 4. But the first one is accountant, the creator of value in a business. How do we create value as accountants? We create value by coming up with strategies, coming up with plans, coming up with budgets, for your businesses. Let's say if you have your business, you can hire me. If you've hired me as your accountant, I'll have to come up with plans, like business plans, come up with strategies of implementing that plan, come up with necessary budgets and all that.
Okay. So definitely each and every business needs accounting.
That is we are trying to create value, and that value should be sustainable. Value. We are not creating value for today, but it should be sustainable value. You know the Millennium Sustainable Goals. We used to have Millennium Development Goals. That is as per UN. Nowadays we have Millennium Sustainable Goals. So your accountants are creators of value in a business.
Okay.
Other than after creating that value in a business, we have to enable it. Because the business will not start at it will not kick off at that creation stage. Because you have the business plan, you have the strategies. Some businesses even die before they are
kick off.
Before they kick off. Because you have your business and your business idea, and it remains in your head. So if you have an accountant, tell that accountant about your business. The accountant will develop it into a plan, come up with strategies, come up with the necessary budgets, then say that at a certain point you're able to kickstart.
Yes.
Once the business has started, and even that, from that perspective, the creation of value, even ongoing businesses, you can come up with a new business line, but you still need the service of an accountant to come up with strategies for that new business. Business line. The other perspective is enablers of value. After creating value, you have to enable it. So accountants come up with information that is needed for decision making. In other words, for the value that has been created to continue moving on as a going concern, you have to continue making decisions, and you have to rely on financial information to make those decisions. For example, liquidity decisions. There are things that we call liquidity. Liquidity is money. Businesses have money, but not that money that is available for what? For doing everything.
Yes.
So there may be money, but that money is available for
capital for the business.
As capital for business. For maybe restocking.
Yes.
So you may not pay salary because you want what?
To restock business. For business to continue.
If you have two options, like if you're going to decide to make a decision, you will have to pay salaries for your staff, but there is no stock. Which decision are you going to make?
Is more important at that time. Okay. So, Mr. Ssozi, on what you have contributed on the advantages of accounting to business, it means
there's still some more.
There are still some more. Okay, please.
So, other than after enabling value, sustainable value, we enable by supporting decision making, day-to-day decision making of a business. We provide information that will enable that business to continue. From enabling, we also have to preserve that business. As we prepare our financial reports, we normally have even a statement that says this business we have to examine its continuity, whether it is able to continue for a sustainable future. Sustainable future is after 1 year. But whether it is going to remain a going concern is within 1 year. First, we have to ascertain whether this business is going to continue after a year and also after a period after a year. Let's say if it's a manufacturing industry, accountants normally create a fund. As an accountant, you have to create a fund if there's a major equipment that has to be replaced at a given time. Let's say after 5 years. You don't wait for 5 years to elapse. So accountants normally create a fund, and that fund will be used after 5 years to replace. Like you have to come up with numerous calculations that should determine the price of that major equipment after 5 years.
At a particular
say
period
that you
of time,
create a fund, and that fund will have to
be there at that time
so that you replace that major equipment. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you will not preserve the business. The business will close because it lacks money to replace that particular equipment.
Yes.
So accountants also preserve what?
Business.
They preserve sustainable value for the business. The other one, the last one, is we report. Accountants are reporters of sustainable value. How do we report?
And to whom do you report?
So we report sustainable value to the key stakeholders.
Okay.
The first one are the investors. There are businesses where the investors are not involved directly. The investors of Umeme, it may be you, it may be somebody else. I have so many colleagues who are investors in Umeme, they bought shares there. But they need to know how is Umeme performing. Who provides that information?
The accountants.
The customers. There are people who want to put, let's say if it is jeans, for you want to put on a specific type of jeans. So what will happen if the company that manufactures those specific type of jeans is going to close in 1 year? Would you want to continue to associate with that company? If you get information it is going to close, and that information is provided for by what? By accountants. That you see this business cannot continue as a going concern. It's not able to continue because it has so many problems. So once you realize that it is not going to continue, you switch to a different what?
Different brand.
A different brand. So the customers also need such information.
Yes.
And also, in terms of pricing, accountants provide information in terms of pricing. If you're going to consume a certain product, you need to know its price. It's not a matter of saying that this price, let's say this phone costs, let's say 200,000. It is the accountant who will come up with different costing mechanisms to determine the
cost of the phone.
The cost of the phone. Okay. So that is accounting information. For you, me knowing the price, that means the accountant must have labored to
establish this and that about so that we come up with
that is the customers. Then also there are those lenders, the banks, the financiers. They want to know before even extending credit to you, the owner of the business. They need to know the performance of your business. So it is the accountants who will provide such information. Government needs to tax you, to collect its taxes. We need to know how much have you made in terms of profits, so that government is able to tax you. The suppliers also, if they are going to extend credit to you, your suppliers, let's say if you are in a manufacturing industry, you make cloth and you make it out of cotton. So the farmer who sells it to you cotton will want to know if that farmer is going to supply it to you on credit. They will need to look at your financial,
find out whether the business is sustainable,
whether you will be able to pay them at a future date.
Okay.
At a future date, will you be able to pay them after 2-3 months, or you are in problems? If you are in problems, then someone will opt for another person. So that is all accounting. So, in other words, for those who are just new to the field of accountants play 4 major roles. The first one is creators of value. After creating value, you're supposed to enable that value. After enabling the value, you have to preserve the value. After preserving the value, you're supposed to report.
Create, enable, preserve, report value. From what you have said, then that means accounting is key to each and every business. But then the problem that we have as a country, our country, Uganda, is predominantly small and medium enterprises. How do we lure these businesses to employ the services of accounting?
There are those who have started. The first thing that you have to do, especially the small businesses who cannot afford the services of a professional accountant, the first thing they have to do is to outsource the because the outsourced services are not the same as the ones that are in-house.
Yes.
In-house, you're going to hire a person like me to sit at your office. I am your employee full-time there. Yet if you outsource me, I'll come because the nature of your business, even the nature of work, is not too much for me as an accountant. I'll come for just a few hours.
A gig offering
3 hours. Once I do what I'm supposed to do, give you a report, then go away. You pay me for that particular service that I've offered. So you outsource me from. There are so many accounting firms where you can outsource such people. If you are a small business, because you need this information for you to grow big, unless you want to remain small forever.
But I believe as accountants, you need to create awareness to these small, medium enterprises that they need these services. See, from what you have talked about, then accountants are key to the boosting of our economy. See, after the pandemic, our economy is still lagging behind. But then these are the services that we need. So I believe as accountants, you need to find avenues of creating awareness to small and medium enterprises, owners, to employ certified accountants.
True, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants had started something where accountants would offer pro bono accounting services. It happened in 2019. If it wasn't for COVID, I think even 2020 it was on the program. But because of COVID, it wasn't. It was scrapped. And since COVID is still around, I don't know whether they may bring it back. But previously it had been introduced. I think it ran for 2018 and 2019. It was at Uganda Manufacturers Association, UMA. Yeah. It was an entire week. It could be for the accountants week. Would offer. There are firms that offered
pro bono services
to
businesses,
small business. Whoever wanted financial advice from an accountant would go there free of charge. That was a way of creating awareness. But because of COVID, and as accountants, we are not supposed to advertise. This is a professional service. It's just like a medical doctor saying, for me, I treat this particular disease better than the other doctor. No, as professionals, we offer the same service. We use the same standards. Okay, there are some other quality things that may come in, but in terms of service, we are not supposed to advertise.
Okay. So for the accountants, for the people who are already into the field of accounting, how do they better their career? From your perspective, how do they better their career?
Those who are into accounting and they've not offered professional course, I would advise them to enroll and study. It's quite lengthy if you're doing a few papers. But if you're willing to do around 3-4 papers per sitting, in 2-3 years you're done. But there are those who opt for doing one paper. If you're going to do one paper, then you have to wait longer, like about 6-7 years. Some people say the professional courses are hard, but it is a process. The challenge with Ugandans, we want to do things that are. We want our easy way out.
In an easy way out, quicker things.
But the easy way out of everything is not very rewarding. The rewards come from those hard things.
Where you have to tell so much.
Enroll for the hard things, qualify, and the rewards will come. The rewards won't, even when you qualify, the rewards won't come at a go. It's a process. You've got to build yourself.
So I believe a young person out there has, personally I have admired the field of accounting since it has a lot of responsibility, and I believe a young person out there has gotten a clue about what they should do and what accountants do, and I believe a point has been driven home. But now let's talk financial stability and wellness. It is another aspect that young people look at so much, apart from physical and mental health. Another aspect of holistic living is financial wellness, where you don't have stress of not having enough money to do this, enough money to do this. Budgets are being high, but you have to navigate around the budgets. And I believe from a position of an accountant, it can be of greater help to this topic of financial stability. So one of the problems that we face is having budgets of things that we don't need as people. Failing to identify what do I need mostly. Mostly there's a statement that says there's nothing that is ever enough. But then there is knowing the key thing. So from a position of knowledge, what should we spend on as young people?
First, what you should spend on. If you are into a career, and that's where you expect to eat from, is develop your career.
Investing in the career.
Invest in your career. If you're into business, into trade, invest in whatever penny you get. Most people say save. Saving, you can save, but if you save and save and save, still you'll remain with what you saved. But save and invest. You saved a little, reinvest it. Whatever you save, you reinvest it. Whatever you save, reinvest it. That is if you're in trade. Yeah. But in business, in career, you have to continue reading and continue. And there's a quotation from Hoffa, is that the learning will inherit the world, and the land will find themselves beautifully well decorated with knowledge and skills of the world that no longer exists. In other words, if you stop learning and you think you have your bachelor's, you'll find yourself well decorated with the knowledge and skills of the world that no longer exists.
Yes, the world has already moved.
So you have to continue
learning
such that you inherit the what?
The world.
The other mantra, my mantra personally, as a person, you see, as a young person, you need to have a mantra. A mantra is something like, can I say slogan? Something
a slogan, or a saying that keeps you boosted.
Going. Mine from the Bible, by the way. It's quite lengthy, but I don't know whether people you find it helpful.
No,
it's from Galatians 6:4. It says, "Be sure to do what you should, for then you will enjoy the personal satisfaction of having done your work so well that you will there will be no need for you to compare yourself with anyone else." What is killing young people is comparison. You will see someone same age like you driving, so you also need to drive. Comparisons. Someone may be older than you driving, then someone may be same age putting on designer clothes. You also want to put on the designer clothes. Just get what be sure to do what you should. Mind your what? Your business. If you're very sure this is what is right, do that. As long as you're very sure, it's a personal conviction, you're sure what you're doing is right. And even the Bible does not penalize you for doing what is right. Even if it is at the end of it is a sin, but for you, in your heart of hearts, you did it with what? Good faith. You know what we're doing was right. But if there's that guilt that comes after doing it, you know that is what? That is a sin. That is a sin, it is wrong. But if you're very sure you're doing...
Your consciousness serves you right.
Please do it. Don't compare. There will be no need for you to compare with anyone else. There are people who have built. There are people who built like after we had qualified. Some of us have just built. There are those who started driving. There are those who will drive tomorrow. There are those who will sell off their cars tomorrow. But for you, your decision was pegged on somebody else driving. Then you also want to drive. The moment you start driving, the other person with whom you compared yourself with will sell off his car and maybe reinvest his money elsewhere where you can't even see. But remember, you pegged your decision on the other person. So just do what you do.
The problem we have with
Do not
people is
compare.
comparison. So once we remove the issue of comparison, we'll sort out even our spending.
For me, it doesn't hurt for me to put on, let's say, my open shoes and maybe walk to where I want to go. Some other person may use a boda boda. The other one will call for an Uber.
So if your budget doesn't serve you, the Uber,
do what you should.
Okay. As a young person growing up, what are some of the steps that you took that have enabled you to be right where you are financially?
As a person, like I told you, career. Me, I've done what I've done through my career. I'm not a business person.
You are an accountant.
I'm an accountant, and that's where I get my money from. Right today, I'm trying to go into tax, but tax consultation is more of accounting work. So, in other words, I am an accountant. So what I did was I invested in my career. After diploma, I started paying for myself for CPA. As others were doing other things, maybe whatever money they were earning, they were maybe investing in their businesses. Me, I was investing in my career. After qualifying for CPA, I went for a postgraduate. You see, even investing in your career also depends on what roles you are taking at a given time. Me, after qualifying for CPA, I got a job, side hustle with Bring Children from the Streets. When I got a side hustle with Bring Children from the Streets, I did not know much about projects, project management and all that. So what I did, I went and enrolled for a postgraduate diploma in project planning and management at Ghana Management Institute.
Okay.
So that one was meant to enhance my performance at
the gig that you had.
I was going to play as an outsourced accountant
for bring children
from the streets. But also it was going to enable me. At that time we had a job, we had an assignment with the Chitovu Mobile Health Care project in Masaka. Our firm was auditing, and Chitovu Mobile Health Care project had a lot of projects therein. Different projects and different funders.
Okay.
Every funder had a proposal, different budgets, different everything. But the first time I was taken for another assignment, I did not understand the things. So what I did, in order for me to enhance my skills at that, I enrolled
at Ghana Management Institute
just to acquire that skill.
Okay, so
when I needed tax knowledge, I enrolled with East African School of Taxation and did a diploma in tax and revenue administration. So it is even much as you're career oriented, there is also target studying.
Yes. Target studying, specialized knowledge.
Yes, there are young people who want to be career oriented, who want to walk along the career path. Who want to take the career path as a source of what? Income. But they end up, after qualifying bachelor's, you enroll for master's. What are you mastering at? Or what are you mastering in? You even don't know. You've not yet identified yourself. You've just finished your bachelor's, but you go for a master's. The other thing you find that one is taking you into being an academician.
So at the end of the day, just an academician.
You're just an academician, but
to being a performer.
In terms of account, by the I've encountered that someone at that time I was doing CPA. I was about to qualify. The only qualification I had in full was a diploma, but I was almost also qualifying for CPA. A client came with work, gave me a business card, and you know what it read? It had a degree, master's, SCCA, postgraduate, like two postgraduates. When I looked at the client's business card. I said, oh, I even feared to look at what. But then, when I started going through his work, I realized I was far much better than him.
You realized he's an academician.
He was an academician, and for me, I was a performer. You're getting it?
Yes.
So it is not about accumulating papers, but what are you able to do
with those papers?
That is what you should focus on.
Okay. So your gold has been your career. It's one thing that you have invested in. So Mr. Ssozi, if you were to go back in time, what would you tell your younger self to improve on, or maybe to adjust to make sure the future is brightened a little bit?
I will tell my young self to read as more books as possible, to broaden my knowledge, my understanding of the entire world.
Yes. Speaking of reading, are you a reader yourself at the moment?
Yes, I read at least a page. I try my best to read at least a page. Even when I don't have time, I at least force myself to read a page.
I'm actually a reader myself, and sometimes I face challenge of not having time. I'm going to stick on yours. Even if I don't have time, I will always do at least a page.
Try reading at least a page.
At least a page.
There are some books that are interesting. My current book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is one of the best. Until they tell you that you read, your actions. It looks at actions, small bits in
day-to-day actions.
Day-to-day small bits. If your goal is weight loss, at least sit-ups. Start with 2. The other day you'll be doing 3, but you should be consistent day to day.
Small things that done consistently. I think it's
kind of disappointing at a certain time. Let's say if you want to lose weight, to cut some kilos, then if you're to do them in small bits, there are times when you feel disappointed and you feel it is not rewarding. It's the same thing that comes to career. You may invest in your career and you find there is that bit of disappointment. The career is not rewarding. And the writer calls it the valley of disappointment. It's a valley of disappointment, but as long as you continue doing the same things, you build the systems within yourself, at the end of the day you end up as an achiever. But why does that valley of disappointment come in? There are people who will do it vigorously. Yes. For you doing it in smaller bits, the others are doing it vigorously, and they end up achieving their goals very fast. So for you end up being disappointed. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Even career-wise, you may all qualify, but you want to do what? You won't attain the financial stability that you were looking at the same time. Or the financial wellness may not come in at the same time. But be sure it will come. Just stick to what you. That's why I said be sure to do what you should. Avoid comparison.
So if you have to go back to young self, the advice that you should give to young self is to read.
Read as more books as possible. And I had a father who was, even up to now, still has strong reading culture. He read a newspaper from the first page up to the last page. If you read a novel, even those scaring novels, the ones of 1,000+ pages, you read them and finish them.
So Mr. Ssozi, thank you so much for sharing with us. But before we close, I want you to look into your camera just right there. What are your closing shots? What would you tell a young person out there? Because as a Guide Youth Initiative, we look at creating a positive mindset for a young person.
In terms of creating, my part in short would be, like I told you, the young person should avoid comparisons. The young person should be sure to do what he should. The young person who wants to be an accountant like me should go to the Institute of Certified Public Accountants on Lukoto Street, Kamocha. Some people call it Korolo, but it's also Kamocha. And enroll and start studying in small bits. Those ones with a bachelor's degree will be given exemptions in certain papers. Even diplomas, at the time, it depends on the kind of diploma you've done, but there are exemptions that are given, such that you start your career as a professional accountant and avoid being just a mere finance person in a finance department somewhere.
Well, that is it today from Guide Youth Initiative. We have been talking about accounting, but then we are open to discussion. What you need to do is to visit our social media pages, send us a message or comment on our YouTube channels on what we want to talk about. And remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our social media handles will be passing down the video. Thank you so much for being part of our show today, and for my production team, kudos. From us, it is a goodbye. Till next time, keep locked on Guide Youth Initiative.